Guys,
Let's talk about your bowl real quick.
we're doing a freaking bowl at Erewhon. Mari's Bloom Bowl. Today on the show, we have Jason Widener, an experienced and knowledgeable figure in the health and wellness industry. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Is it fair to say that Erewhon is currently at its peak of popularity or like fame?
I've been with Erewhon for 13 years.
It is like the health mecca of Los Angeles. I mean, it's one of a kind.
We're still going to be who we are because we've stayed true to who we are, because we've had a strong mission, we've had a strong vision, and we stuck to it. And we don't bend for it. You feel that when you walk in, the integrity.
Mental health is super important
Yeah.
and very important to me and my story. So I'm donating 100% of my proceeds to the Brain and Behavior Research Foundation. It's for a great cause, and I feel like the Bloom Bowl, I mean, it's such a moment. I believe this episode is coming out on May 15th. So as of right now, you can go and get the Bloom Bowl. Okay, guys, today on the show, we have Jason Widener, an experienced and knowledgeable figure in the health and wellness industry. He's currently the Vice President of Purchasing and Distribution at Erewhon. He's dedicated to sourcing the best products available and ensuring they're stocked for customers seeking the healthiest possible lifestyle at the famous store Erewhon. I've had the pleasure of working with Jason over the past few months on an exciting collaboration we are going to be talking about in this episode. I've been dying to get him on the mic to hear more about his story. Jason, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Tell us about what you currently do at Erewhon, because it sounds like you wear a lot of hats.
Well, yeah, we can go back to the Vice President of Purchasing and Distribution. It's not, I mean, I've been involved in purchasing for the first few years of my life at Erewhon. I've been with Erewhon for 13 years, and it's been a journey that has been, I mean, you walk into Erewhon, you feel the love.
100%.
And there's a recipe for that, and to be a part of that journey has been incredible. So now I'm Vice President of Culture Development, Team Building, New Stores.
Got it.
And just really being a part of the wellness movement.
So you're kind of keeping the brand alive. Like, you're making sure that you guys stick to the mission.
Absolutely. Mission, vision is the spark that started it all off for Erewhon back, you know, in the 60s. And that spark has been, you know, it goes, you know, you drift off and you come back to it, but Erewhon, the actual mission and the vision has always been the same, is to inspire people to make better choices. And that's where it all began.
So what was the start of Erewhon? Like, where did it come from?
Erewhon, so the name Erewhon comes from a book by Samuel L. Butler. It was read by a man named Michio Kushi, who was in the 1940s in New York reading this book called Erewhon, and it was a satire of Victorian society. And he was blown away by, you know, the responsibility of the human being in this book to take health into their own hands. That was kind of one of the big points of it. He didn't know how to change the world. He only knew that he loved food. He loved, you know, he was a macrobiotic genius. He ends up becoming a doctor and becomes this huge leader in the movement. But in the 40s and the 50s, they were, you know, the natural food movement was just beginning because pesticides, herbicides, everything exploded during that time. You know, monocultures, farming, and so he decided, through food, I can change the world by being truthful and honest and bringing the right people together by us holding each other accountable. And that was the seed that was planted in Erewhon, and it's still growing today.
So when did the first store in LA open? Because it's still currently just in LA, correct?
Started off in Boston, then it started off on the East Coast, and then it came over to LA in, I think, the 70s. I think it was the early 70s. And it was in a little small spot there off of Beverly. And then they needed a bigger spot. And so then they moved down to the current spot, which is at the Beverly on the Beverly location in Hollywood. And that one has been there for over 30 years.
Wow.
And then, like, you know, it went through some different owners' hands, and then these magical people came along named Tony and Josephine and Tosi, and they carried a spark that really empowered all of us wellness warriors to the next level.
Yeah.
And that has been the game changer for Erewhon and just the movement of wellness within our city.
Is it fair to say that Erewhon is currently at its peak of popularity or like fame?
We are in the background the whole time. I still feel like we're in the background, even though we're connected and we're working with celebrities and doing collabs. We always believe that if you do the work and you put others first, you're going to be fine, because you're trying to search. We're all searching for that authentic self, right? If you know your authentic self, then you can actually be truthful with people and build great relationships with people. So we have great relationships. Either it doesn't matter what happens with the economy or whatever happens with celebrities, or we're still going to be who we are because we've stayed true to who we are, because we've had a strong mission, we've had a strong vision, and we stuck to it, and we don't bend for it. And I think you feel that when you walk in, the integrity.
100%. I mean, for those of you who haven't been to an Erewhon, it is like the health mecca of Los Angeles. It is pristine at all times. Everyone in there knows exactly where everything is. It's the one place I think I've ever been where I feel 100% that I can trust what I'm putting in my body. And for someone like me, that's super important. And I think for a lot of the people listening, we want to be able to walk in a store and know these ingredients are safe, they're good, the people who chose them have our best interest in mind. And I think that's becoming more and more rare nowadays. I mean, it's one of a kind, I feel like.
Well, yeah, the standards are very high, and they have to stay high, because everyone that works at Erewhon, they're wellness. They are wellness warriors. We found like-minded people to come together so that we can sit there and analyze, like, okay, is this ceremonial blend, or okay, how's it picked? Okay, when was it picked? Oh, what farm is this? I mean, we ask a lot of questions because we want to know where it came from. So,
right.
So that you feel it when you walk in. Like I said, the integrity. You can go to our nutrition, aisles, and they'll blow you away. I mean, they are in the pursuit of wellness, right? They're in that pursuit of what. I love that tagline, by the way.
Thank you so much.
You know why? Because it's so true. Because the mental, the physical, the spiritual.
I know.
Being in the pursuit, making that choice is. I want to get into that, but it's such a big choice that you have, and you made that choice.
I made that choice, and I also feel like I'm still making that choice. Like, I think people think that a fitness journey has an end line.
No.
And it's a constant. You're constantly learning more. You're constantly on the pursuit of wellness. That's where the name came from. And I want to talk about your wellness story.
I'm 49. I feel like I just began.
Wow.
That's how I feel. And I've been through so many different chapters in my life, because your body changes.
Yeah.
Your mindset changes a little bit. Your spirit changes.
Where did your health journey begin? Like, who were you at the beginning?
All right, I'm going to try to say this. Long story short. I was brought up in some crazy stuff when I grew up. From 1 to 8 years old, my biological father left when I was 2. My grandfather was beating my mother in front of me. I saw my mother strangled in front of me. I used to get in fights. I was 7 years old getting into fights. I was in the bad neighborhood. It was crazy. And I didn't know who's in charge. Is it me? Is it them? Is this just the world? So there's something that clicked inside of me when I was very young, that I did make a choice back then to say, I don't want to be like, whatever's happening here, there's something wrong with it. And the only saving grace I had was my mother, and she just believed in me so much, and she knew what we are going through was just circumstances of just what the world. It's just where we were, and from there, obviously that journey didn't really take place until when I was in my 20s, when I was still confused and trying to figure out what my path is and why do I need a path, and all those questions come. Are you just doing a job to make money, or what? Do you want to make a difference? Where does that all start, right? And I think for someone in that wants change, anger is a good place to start, because anger means you want change. When I see someone angry, I'm glad you're angry. I'm glad you're mad. That means you want change, right? It's when you give up. That's a hard place to come out of. But there's always that spark. And that spark is that action that you know that you can take. Not hope, it's action. And to do that, I think you have to understand your self-critic first. Because you can't change your mindset unless you understand where those voices in your head come from. Is it my parents? Is it the mentor the wrongfully picked mentor? Is it my friends? Is it the music? Is it the movie? Is it the books that I read? All these things come together to start molding who you want to be and why you want to be this person. And ultimately for me personally, I knew I wanted to make a difference. I didn't know how. I just knew I wanted to be there. So I had to understand that critic in my head and know that I can do these things. I might not be the best, but I can get better. And that's kind of where it all started. And that's why I'm 49 and I still believe I'm a student and I've only just begun. And the practice continues. So I think it starts there. Your mindset, understanding that self-critic, those silly voices in your head, which is noise, getting those out of your way. And you got to figure out, but you don't have to get them out of your way, but you need to be aware of them. You need to sit still, get out of the noise. Like we turn off our cell phone. I like how you and I looked at each other and we're like, we're turning off our cell phone and putting it in our pocket because you are important to me and we want to connect. And that's the same thing you have to do with yourself. You have to connect with yourself. And that's that self-love, that self-care, that self-inner journey that once you start doing the work, it's every day. You don't stop. It's every single day. You wake up. What is your practice? You do a little bit of your practice. It could be just 1 minute, could be an hour. And then that's how you start this journey.
What is your practice? Because it sounds like you grew up in a very chaotic household. I can relate in a lot of ways. And I first of all, it's very refreshing to hear you say that the journey doesn't end in your 40s and that you just began in your 20s. Because I think a lot of people listening feel like they need to have it figured out and that the voices don't go away. The voices are always there. The self-doubt is always there. It's about the practices. So how do you wake up in the morning?
I think once you made a commitment to want change and you want to make a difference and you want to put others first, because it comes back to you. You know, you've seen it. It's true. It's real. I started doing, I was a rock climber, I was a gymnast, I did a lot of sports when I was a barefoot water skier. So I had a ton of injuries. I've broken bones, I've ripped cartilage in my back and neck pain. Imagine going 45 miles per hour barefoot water skiing, you catch a toe and you go wham on the water.
Ooh.
I've done that probably like 50, 60 times. I don't know what I was thinking, but it was a lot of fun. So I did that when I was young, and then I got into the gymnastics and the barefoot, and martial arts and things like that. So, but what I found was I studied Qigong, Xinyi, Bagua, a lot of Chinese martial arts, and because I love the healing aspect of it. As much as there's the fighting aspect, there's the healing aspect. And you learned how to fight, we boxed, we did, I love that, putting myself in that situation where there's fear, because if you can relax in that fear, that's a seed of personal growth, is where you have that fear. So I wanted to do the work in martial arts. But then I realized the healing stuff was just so satisfying. Like I started working on people, I had clients, and I did this before Erewhon. And so what I learned was one of my favorite things to do is just stillness practice or meditation, whatever you want to call it. And it's about aligning your spine. It's about creating space in your spine. And there's certain ways you can get into it, and there's Taoist breathing. But what you do is you pull all this stuff together, and it's about, biologically, you've got all these things that are happening inside of your body, right? You've got your heartbeat, you got your energetic pathways, you got your breath, you got your spinal fluid that pumps 7 or 8 times through your spine every minute. So you have this thing where they call it flow state, and Some people get there through doing yoga. Some people get it through doing, a boxing gym or riding a bike or swimming in the ocean. It's a type of flow state. But what it does is it takes you out of that external, all the noise, and it taps you into a rhythm, the biological oscillators of your body, this rhythm inside of your body. And I think that is where you can have some acceptance, where you're just like, I'm here, I'm present, and this feels good.
Yeah. There's so much depth in that. And I think, as you just said, it looks different for everyone.
It does.
For me, it's horseback riding.
Yes.
As you're speaking about this, I'm imagining being on the horse. I know it sounds crazy.
No, but that's beautiful. That's amazing. How often do you ride?
I try to get down there 3 times a week, but
Wow.
It's hard. It's really difficult it's so funny because it is so healing, and it is, when you're doing it, you're like, wow, I need to be doing this so much more. But it's so easy to kind of push aside when the schedule gets busy and when work pops up. But it's so important to set aside time for those things.
It's just you gotta make these non-negotiables with yourself. After a while, you have to hold yourself accountable. And one thing that I always try to do, and I'm lucky that I have the most wonderful wife in the world. She is my best friend. She's incredible. We just really push each other in all the right ways. And we try to just hang every morning. I know that sounds crazy, but I feel like your spinal cord is something that people don't think about as a piece of their wellness routine.
Oh, hang as in off of a bar?
Just hang.
Oh, I see.
Hang.
I thought you meant hang out.
No, hang.
My husband also loves to hang.
There's something about hanging.
Yeah.
And the fascia inside your body, you have your brachial plexus through here, which is a crazy highway of nerves running through your shoulders. And of course, your neck alignment, right? Most people have so many injuries in their neck that they don't even realize. And just simply hanging in the morning, just for a minute, 2 minutes, realigns your back, your neck, and strengthens your fascia around those capitis muscles. And just from there, then you start thinking, maybe I'll ride the bike. Maybe I'll do some jumping jacks. Or you know what? I'm gonna work out. Then I'm gonna do my cold bath, and then I'm gonna do. You start, and that's how you just. It's like in yoga terms, they say hit the mat. Doesn't matter. Hit the mat. Get in child pose. Do it for a minute. Yo yourself that. And at least if you can do that, you can start that physical practice, which taps you into the other deeper work, which is, building relationships, being honest with yourself.
I love that concept of taking action before you let yourself think too much. On my fitness journey, I used to do the 5-second rule where I just count down from 5 and start, get out of the bed, pick up a weight, whatever it was. I think just by taking that physical action, you prevent thinking yourself into a spiral.
Agree. That brings me up to habits, right?
Yeah.
How do you even know you have a bad habit? That's part of that journey. Is okay. I need to recognize that bad habit. What is it? Then you got to recognize what the good habit is. Okay. Now, how do I make that a preferred habit? That's when the real magic starts to happen, and then you start getting into your routine. Thus, your lifestyle changes because you're feeling good. Because at the heart of it all, what is it about? It's how do you feel good so that you can not only so I can infect my children, I can help infect my wife in a positive way, and the people that I run into, so that we're smiling together, and hopefully we come away from this both that was a good connection there.
Yeah, you leave with your cup full rather than
absolutely.
Empty. And I feel like you have accomplished that within the Erewhon community so well. When did you get started at Erewhon?
So that was 13 years ago, and I started off as just working behind the tonic bar. I built a business plan, and I was going to do my own juice bar, cold pressed juice bar. And the owner, Tony and Josephine, and this is what they're brilliant at, is they find people that are passionate, find people that want to make things better, and they just said, hey, why don't you just run in this direction? Why don't you build a cold pressed juice program? And why don't you run the wellness bar? And why don't you run some stores? And they just let you, they empower you, and and they're just great mentors. They're great mentors to people. They know how to put all these different aces in places, because I'm such a small part. Erewhon is like so beautiful because there's so many pieces to the puzzle. I mean, there's department directors that float store to store, and there's, our corporate headquarters have so many brilliant people that are driving collaborations and building the digital space, the marketing, and then you got the floor, which is just, they're just pure hospitality and service first leadership.
Yeah.
And that's contagious. And I feel like the work that we do from the human side is just as important as the food side.
Yeah. So how has your role with Erewhon developed over time? Like, what areas of the company have you touched?
Well, we were scrappy at the beginning. We were only one store. We were one little baby store. And then we opened up Calabasas, and that was successful, and then the owners, Tony and Josephine, said, I think Venice would be a cool place to open up. And I said, Venice is cool. And we found this cool building that has like these, big bow truss ceilings, and it feels like you're in a ship or something. It's just beautiful, right? And it was, it was a scrappy neighborhood, and that's where it all began. Like, that nucleus of LA where it just exploded, then Venice, then Santa Monica, then Silver Lake, then Studio City, and then so I've just played a lot of different roles, and I'm just here to be of service and go where it's needed, right? So I was running stores, I was running marketing for a while. Now I'm not running stores, but I'm overseeing the development of leaders and just trying to create tools for people so that they can be of service to people, right? Because if people are confused, they don't have the tools, that causes too much stress. I don't want my team to ever be stressed because they don't have the right tools, because I want them to connect. I want them to share with them that, like, hey, this is my health journey. You should try this vitamin C, or you should try this awesome matcha because it's, this blue matcha because it's ceremonial grade and it's got a lot of antioxidants and it's a slow energy release, and cut down on the coffee. Doesn't mean you can't have it. Just cut down on it a little bit. Try the matcha.
Yeah.
So those are the conversations that are happening day in, day out. So yeah, my role now is I'm just happy to be here and to be able to share with the team and you and the community, just health and wellness.
And as you just mentioned, the process that you guys use to review products before they go into Erewhon is super rigorous, and I can say that from the brand side now, because officially, I'm announcing this right now, Bloom Matcha, Mari's Matcha, is available in Erewhon, all Erewhons, right now. Mm-hmm. It's on shelf.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Because we look at every single matcha and we say, okay, why this matcha?
Mm-hmm.
What do we have on the shelves? What makes us different? What makes us, why is this leveling up?
And this matcha was super important to me from the beginning, because I'm a big matcha fan and I wanted it to be ceremonial grade. I wanted it to be 100% organic, from traditionally stone ground from the best fields in Japan. We spoke with the people who sourced it, and I think having it in Erewhon is such a big moment for me, and also for the Bloom community while they're listening. Why do you think it's so important that you have this rigorous process about getting products in? Why is it so important that customers know what's in their products at Erewhon?
I mean, we set the standards high, it's important because, we have limited space. First of all, we want the consumers to be able to come in and look at the granola section or the matcha section or the collagen section, doesn't matter what it is, and know that I've got a price range here, right? And I got options, but I also they all have a story to tell. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't have a story to tell and you don't know where it's coming from, and so for the most part, that's how it's all vetted. You got to know, who are they? Why are they doing this? You know what I mean? Is it is it a fad? Is it not a fad? Or is coconut really, like back when like coconuts, and people are trying to understand, like, oh, is this, is coconut meat and coconut water and coconut cream, is this really good for you? And then then the medium chain triglycerides, and then everyone started talking about how it can actually help with weight loss, even though it's it's a certain fat that people think could be bad, but it's actually not. So there's a lot of things that are trending, and so we try to just thread that needle to find out what's trending, what has the health benefits, which has the functions, and then what separates yourself from everyone else, like as far as the story. And that's how we choose.
What are some of your personal favorite brands at Erewhon?
So many. I love them all. I mean, okay, well, let's talk about your bowl real quick, because there's some of my personal favorite brands are in this bowl. Or we don't want to talk about?
No, let's talk about the bowl. I haven't announced it yet.
Oh, jeez.
We're doing a freaking bowl at Erewhon.
It's amazing. It's the first bowl.
It's the first bowl. Mari's Bloom Bowl is the name.
It's amazing. It's incredible.
We've been working on this for the past few months, and guys, like, the detail that went into this bowl.
Yeah.
And it's so freaking delicious.
Beautiful.
So many health benefits.
Yes.
And it's the first freaking bowl. I mean, how long have you guys been doing these collabs for?
A couple of years. Yeah, a couple of years.
With some of the biggest celebrities
absolutely.
out right now.
Yeah.
Bella Hadid.
Yeah, and bowls are actually, they're harder to make. They're more detailed, and it's the same functionality, because I'm using the base of the matcha and organic mango, coconut cream, bananas, pearl, and then I got all these other cool things that I got inside, like like a really good clean almond milk from 3 Trees, which I love. Sun butter, which is an crazy organic sunflower butter, which just tastes fantastic. It has its own flavor. And of course, you got your collagen, which is, we all know about collagen and how it supports so many things inside of your body. And then you got just basic things like granola, but this is not your normal granola. This is made around here in LA, and it's grain free, and it's just filled with the best organic nuts and fruits you can get, and it's just fantastic. And then you have this coconut cream. I use this coconut cream a lot from Zuma Valley, and I love their quality, and I love their story, because they come, it's a multi-generational Filipino family that it's a first press, cold press coconut cream, I mean, it's incredible. It's just the flavor and the authenticity of this bowl, and the brands that are involved, especially this one,
especially Bloom, guys.
Especially Bloom, it's incredible. Yeah.
One of my favorite parts, guys, is that the bowl looks like a flower. So when you have your bowl with all these incredible ingredients and brands in it, it has a strawberry flower on top with the beautiful granola, and then we have, this is my favorite part, the raspberry whip.
Yeah, raspberry whip, yeah.
Made with the coconut cream, mixed in with raspberry, I think, pitaya too. It's like pink. Yeah,
then you got the matcha coconut flakes, and then and there's going to be a little surprise flower in there too. So it's going to be beautiful.
I really pushed for the flower, guys. I was like, I'm not going to be a diva about this.
I'm still testing the flowers. I got to taste them. I got to make sure they're legit and you can eat them.
I really wanted a flower on top to represent Bloom, because it's Mari's Bloom bowl, and the flower does look gorgeous. But with or without the flower, the bowl is absolutely delicious. And I want to mention, we are doing this bowl in honor of Mental Health Month. May is Mental Health Month, as we've been speaking about. Mental health is super important and very important to me and my story. So I'm donating 100% of my proceeds to the Brain and Behavior Research Foundation. And they specifically research borderline personality disorder, which is my diagnosis. And they really put all of their money to good use. So 100% of my proceeds are going there.
That's amazing.
It's for a great cause. And I feel like the Bloom Bowl, I mean, it's such a moment.
It is a moment.
So
I'm glad you brought up the charity piece, because it's, we don't really talk about that much.
Yeah.
But we've raised so much money for different charities. And I mean, we built a whole wing in Africa. We built a school, like a whole wing of a school in Africa, which was the way we got connected with it. Like, just, how just magic happens. You just get connected with different charities, and just like yours, I mean, it's people don't even know. It's like there's so many different charities that we've gotten to donate, and so people don't realize that when they're paying for they're coming to get a smoothie or whatever smoothie, the Haley smoothie or the Frankie smoothie or or any of the other ones. There's money that's actually going to charity.
Right, and everyone has a different cause, a different purpose, a different mission. Just so you guys know, the bowl is out on May 15th. Monday, May 15th, you can go and get the bowl. You can go and get the blue matcha on the shelves. I believe this episode is coming out on May 15th. So of right now, you can go and get the Bloom bowl. So this is incredible. So exciting.
It's so exciting.
So in terms of the collaborations, you're running the collaborations.
Yes, Vito and Tosi is Tony's brother. He runs the brand collaborations, but he always talks to me. He's like, "Hey, what do you think about this? Like, let's work with this." And then once we decide on the brands and the person, then it's kind of crazy. You went through the process. It's like, okay, let's figure this out. Let's meet at the stores. It takes, as you said, it took a long time for us to figure out what the recipe is, how is it going to look, what's the function behind it, and then it's teaching the teams. Then it's all the teams learn about it. Why is this functional? Why does this work? Why this matcha? Why organic? Why a grain-free granola? It's and then from there, it's you gotta learn. We're doing these every single month, so it's quite the symphony of activity, and it's a lot of fun.
And you're working with some of the biggest celebrities in the world on some of these collaborations. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah, no, it's really cool, and like we said before, we never did this to. We do this. Our purpose is authentic, and it's health and wellness, and it's. Like I said, I want the tagline of Erewhon to be the pursuit of wellness since 1968.
Do not steal my tagline.
Let's work on this.
Jason's actively stealing
I'm actively stealing the tagline, yes.
Since Erewhon is kind of like the place everyone goes to discover the new health trends. Like personally, I look around at the products, I see, okay, like what's new, what's happening. What would you say are some of the newest health trends in the industry right now?
That's a good question, because I feel like for the last decade, there's been so many, the coconut, the probiotics, adaptogens, the mushrooms. Right now, I don't think there's like this one thing that's just popping out right now that's just, this is it. I think people are realizing that the human body is so, the journey, you trying to figure out what works for you, like what works for you is not going to work for me. And I think people are realizing how special we truly are, and just because probiotic, coconut, I think it's fantastic. It just might not work well with your system. So for me, it's I don't think there's anything that's just busting out of its seams, trending, cool, anything like that. I mean, it's. I wish I had a better answer, but there's really like it's integrity.
Yeah.
It's things with integrity. Things it's like milk, right? Like people are realizing that like A2 milk is better for you, and you can digest it a little bit better.
I feel like dairy is kind of having a comeback.
Dairy's definitely having a comeback. Our sales have gone up a lot with dairy, to tell you the truth.
Interesting.
And my favorite stuff is kefir. Dairy.
Oh, right. Okay, so I've been
Kefir
dying.
dairy. That if I was gonna say something like cool and trending, I feel like kefir dairy's kind of starting to uptick for sure.
Kefir is a probiotic yogurt, correct?
Yeah, it's a grain. It's a type of grain that they use to get the fermentation, and it's fantastic. My wife and I have been drinking it a lot lately, and you just feel good. I don't know what it is. It's easy to digest. You're getting all these proteins, all these minerals and vitamins and things like that. Then you're also getting the probiotics at the same time. So you can mix that with blueberries and bananas in the morning, and you're just like, wow. You're like, that's pretty nice.
I want to try that.
Yeah. You can make smoothies out of it, and yeah.
And
cool.
how about the hot? I feel like the hot food bar at Erewhon.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Is having a major moment.
The hot food bar has always been dynamite. It's the people that the culinary team. They're truly craftsmen. I mean, they're artisans. They're more than just artisans though. I feel like they're craftsmen, and they care about everything, the texture, the craveability, the purpose behind it. And it's always it's always beautiful and fresh. I mean, and I see the food safety side and the food, the back end side, and you just see how just rigorous everything is, and just the way that they keep everything just perfect up until the time that they serve it at the deli, and it's incredible. I mean, the combo plates are more famous than the smoothies probably.
I don't know, it's kind of a close tie. Everyone at the Bloom office has either a smoothie or a combo plate every single day.
You got to get the Erewhon combo plate. It doesn't matter what you get. I mean, they make, I've seen them have jambalaya, different kinds of lamb. I mean, grass fed, all kinds of different vegan dishes. I mean, they're coming up with stuff all the time. They have they probably have 200 recipes. They probably have more. I'm probably not even doing them service. Like literally have probably 400 or 500 recipes. It's insane.
I have to get more adventurous because I always just get the salmon and carrots and a salad. But it's fantastic. What is your response when you hear controversy in terms of pricing at Erewhon?
Well, it's like the smoothies. Like, we don't even talk about the $2 that's going to donations. And then if you see my footprint at the store, you feel the integrity, the love, the presentation, the quality. I have a lot of people that work at each store. Could I operate 40, 50 people per store? It'd be a skeleton crew, but I have 150 people that work at each store. That's how much, a Whole Foods has, their stores are 20, 30,000 square feet, more, 40, 50,000 square feet. I probably have just as much employees as they do sometimes, but in a small footprint. So we're packed on each other like sardines because we have so much action from the front end, the customer service. You got the wellness bar. You have this culinary team. These culinary teams, there's 60 to 70 team members on one culinary team. And there's 20 just for the wellness bar. And then there's 20 for the front end. Then I've got a receiving team in the back that's checking temperatures and logging. And I mean, there's a lot that goes into the quality and just the atmosphere of Erawan.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of prices that, I'm sorry, it's word the same as everyone else, if not cheaper sometimes.
And I also think if you are someone that really cares about quality of food and where it's coming from and the story behind it.
And discovery. Because it's pure discovery. You come in, Erewhon, you don't need a shopping list. You can just say, I'm having one of those days where I'm just gonna go to Erewhon. I'm sure I'm gonna I'm gonna catch fire here in a second. Okay, and then you go and then you start talking to the wellness practitioners and you talk to someone at the wellness bar and all of a sudden you're like, man, you grab a basket and you're shopping and you're inspired.
Especially if you are gluten-free, dairy-free,
vegan,
nut allergy.
Keto.
There's something for you.
There's something for you, yes. And so when you're on that journey, you just want to hear people's perspectives.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that at a lot of grocery stores. And I don't even think we're a grocery store. I don't know what we are, to tell you the truth. We're just a wellness hub.
Yeah, you almost are like a social club. I mean, I see the same people at Venice Erewhon every single day. Everyone knows each other. We're all hanging out. We're all comparing what we're getting. What did you get today? It really is a community of people who genuinely care so much about their health. Mm-hmm. I also think I heard Vito say on the phone, we were talking about it, and he was like, people go out and spend $15 on a glass of wine like that.
Yeah,
but they won't
think about it.
But they won't spend it on a healthy meal for themselves.
Oh, absolutely. We spend so much money on things we don't need, and I truly feel that the work, the internal work, it all comes together when what you eat, who you hang around, your practice in the morning or throughout the day, and it's to me, I think when you level it up like this, you're holding yourself more accountable too, because if I'm going to spend, a little bit more money for this granola that I know is incredible and it's there's no grains and it's organic, it's local, I'm going to feel good about eating this, and I'm going to make sure that I'm treating my body right and my mind right so that I do it justice, right? I don't want to just, I'm just not eating for pleasure anymore. I do it, and I can eat for pleasure, but I eat because I'm trying to fuel this thing that I'm doing. I want to make a difference. So how am I going to fuel this? How am I going to sleep well tonight? How am I going to digest everything so that I'm not fighting all night my digestion? Yeah. And so I'm always. And some people will say, "Well, you're taking the fun out of it." No, I'm not actually, because I still know how to eat awesome, combo plates from the freaking Erewhon hot bar, and I can eat clean. And you start craving these simple ingredients that are organic, and you don't crave the other stuff anymore.
I always say that.
You just don't crave it anymore.
I don't even think about it.
Like, I'm so hungry right now.
Are you actually hungry?
I'm hungry now.
I mean, because we're sitting here.
I'm just like, I'm thinking about the bowl. I'm thinking about the hot bar.
We have all these ingredients in front of us for the bowl, and they do look fantastic. And I'm thinking about the bowl right now.
Yeah.
For anyone listening who isn't in LA and doesn't have an Erewhon and wants to recreate the bowl, what's the best way to go about it?
I'm gonna give it to you, and you blast it out to whoever you want.
The whole recipe, because guys, I think the best part about the bowl is it has that thick base.
Yeah, it's thick. You gotta have the right. Listen, if you really want to get into smoothies or making like homemade ice creams at the house, you gotta have I always say invest in a Vitamix. I know they're a lot of money up front, but I'm telling you something. I bought one probably 15 years ago. I'm still using it to this day to make crazy probiotic blueberry. I put greens in there. I put all kinds of stuff there, but I make them nice and thick. I mean, it's like literally you're eating ice cream. And the Vitamix, like the VitaPrep 3, is amazing. And you just gotta buy a good Vitamix because you can replace the parts really easy, and you can cook anything. You can make soup in it.
Yeah, I have one. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's
I
amazing.
use it every day.
Yeah, and so once you got that, then you start experimenting. And listen, I'm probably gonna have soon. Like I said, Erewhon's one of those places where I will give away recipes because I want you to be able to make this stuff at your house. First of all, we're here to share. There's plenty to go around, right?
Just to give a little rundown of the actual recipe here, we have the 3 Trees organic almond milk. Yeah. We have the BioSil, 4 drops of BioSil, which is the collagen.
Yeah, it's you only need a little bit of this. I think it's 5 drops. Change that to 5.
5 drops. We have 2 scoops of mangoes, half a frozen banana, which I feel like is super important for the thickness. Yeah. Half a teaspoon of the matcha powder. And by the way, the matcha powder is super, super concentrated.
Yeah, it's strong.
It's strong. It's very green. It's high quality.
I was using a full teaspoon at first, and I was like, whoa, this is really strong.
It's really strong, and that's what I wanted because I like it like that.
Yeah.
1 teaspoon of sunflower butter. We've got another scoop of collagen, half an avocado, a tiny bit of maple syrup, and we made sure it was tiny because I'm not a big sweet person, so it's definitely a creamier blend. Blend until smooth, and then for toppings we have the granola, we have the raspberry cocoa whip, insane. We have the fresh strawberries, we have the coconut cream, a little dot in the middle to make it look like a flower, and then we have white coconut flakes mixed with the very green matcha, so it has like this cool green flaky look.
Yeah, it's crazy how it's beautiful.
It's stunning. Yeah. So if you want to make it at home, guys, tag us. We want to see your creations.
Absolutely.
Jason, where are you at now on your pursuit of wellness?
Right now, I've been taking. Quick story. I was backpacking, probably in my 30s, and I wasn't doing cold showers or cold plunges or anything like that. But I literally was up at the 12,000 feet one time, and I was with my girlfriend, and I got naked and I jumped in the water, right? And I remember it taking my breath away, and I remember thinking, I have never felt this good in my life. There's probably many reasons for that, but there is something about that connection with the cold, the scariness of the cold. And I know people talk about the cold plunge and stuff, and so I started doing cold showers. I've been doing that for years now, and just recently I just finally got like a real cold plunge where testing the water, making sure it's good, and my wife and I literally every single morning we jump in this thing, and it's talk about mindset. Once you face that, because you don't want to do it most of the time. 70-80% of the time you don't want to do it, but I think that's where some of that practice comes in, as far as letting it go and just knowing that your body you'll be okay. That stress, that challenge, you will breathe through it. So like you just get in, and the health benefits of it are incredible. Mm-hmm. I mean, for your lymphatic system, your circulatory system, I mean, your skin, I mean, it is incredible for you, and it wakes up your nervous system, and I truly believe your nervous system. Think about your body, how incredible it is. Think about, you got your mind, right? You got your brain, and now from there you got your brain stem. That brain stem connects into your spinal cord, which connects to your peripheral nerves that go out through your whole body. Your whole body is an extension of your mind, which is crazy. And this cold plunge lights you up. It's incredible. And then you work, go about your day. You can do anything after that. I've done a cold plunge. Bring it on. Let's go.
I feel like there's so much to that. I love getting done the first thing in my day, the most challenging part of my day, because once you do that, you're showing yourself evidence that you can keep doing hard things all day long.
Absolutely. And you don't have to be that stressed about it. Because I think when you put yourself through the physical stress, some of that, cold plunge is kind of a mental stress. It fortifies your mindset for the future, for that day, right? And I think that's when you're constantly doing that. It becomes, I'm looking forward to the challenge now. I want that sinking feeling in my heart and my gut when I have a huge problem in front of me, or I have a developmental problem with inside my team, because I'm like, how can I help them now? Because this is challenging. Wow, I'm going to have to reflect on this. And I'm looking for that feeling now. And I think when you feel that feeling, I always say, lean into it. Don't run away from it. There's something you're supposed to be doing here, because that's why your gut and your heart is pounding, when you're put in that situation. So lean into it and know that fear is going to be gone the moment you start addressing it.
Yeah. How do I breathe into this problem?
Yeah.
Jason, now it's time for the question we ask every guest.
Uh-oh.
I started this podcast because I believe everyone's pursuit of wellness looks different. What does wellness mean to you?
Truth. Your authentic self, feeling good, sleeping well, and then just lighting it up through the day. That's me.
I love it.
Yeah.
Anything you want to share with us? News? When's this bowl coming?
Bowl is the 15th. I think it's next Monday. Actually, we're here now because it's actually happening right now.
It's happening right now, guys.
Right now, the 15th.
The first ever bowl collab Erewhon has ever done.
Yes.
It's delicious. It's going to keep you full. It's going to make you feel good. Tons of protein, tons of health benefits.
And I couldn't be more happy than to do it with you, because you are just such a magical person. And it was funny, before when we started doing this bowl, one of our managers, one of our leaders at Venice, she calls me up. She goes, "Are we doing a bowl? Are we doing something with Mari?" I'm like, "Yes, we are." She goes, "She's changed my life." She's like, "She is an amazing person." I go, "Really?" I go, "You know her?" And she's like, "Yes, I know her." She's like, she's magical. And she told me all about you. And I just thought that was really cool.
That means the world. I do want to give a shout out to Anya, because she honestly was one of my first friends in Venice. Like,
That's
when
so
I
crazy.
first moved to LA, I went to go get a smoothie at Erewhon, and she was like, "Hi, I'm Anya. I use your products," and we've been connected ever since then. And she's such a special human, and she literally helped us make this bowl happen, which is such a full circle moment to have someone that's so connected to me.
It's like you're in Anya's bowl.
I know. This is insane. So Anya, we love you.
We love you, Anya. You did a great job.
Killed it. And thank you so much for the support, and thank you for helping make this happen.
Yeah, absolutely. You're awesome. Thank you.
Woo!